The prophet Amos says in chapter 3 verse 7, "The great Lord Jehovah will not do a thing unless he reveals his confidential plan to his servants the prophets." So if it is Jehovah's intention to punish his people for their apostasy, for example, he will reveal it first to his prophets. Here are some verses from chapter 7 to 9 of the prophet Jeremiah. This is what Jehovah of armies, the God of Israel, has said. "I kept sending to you all my servants the prophets, daily getting up early and sending them. How can you say, 'We are wise, and the law of Jehovah is with us'? Look, for sure the false pen of the writers has written falsehood. Look, they have rejected the very word of Jehovah, and what wisdom do they have? All of them are adulterers, an assembly of deceivers. Every man, guard yourselves from your associate, and do not trust any brother, because every brother will trip you up, and every associate is a slanderer going around. And every man fools his associate and does not speak the truth. They teach their tongue to speak falsehood. You are sitting in the middle of deception. By deception they refuse to know me, says Jehovah. Who is the man who is wise and can understand this? To whom the mouth of Jehovah spoke, and who will tell the land that she will be burned down like the desert, with no one able to cross. This is what Jehovah of armies, the God of Israel, says. Look, I am feeding this people with wormwood, and giving them poisoned water to drink. And I will scatter them into the nations that neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send even the sword after them, until I have exterminated them. Scriptures are from the Jehovah's Word, the Bible translation, the most accurate translation of the Bible in the world. Jehovah has explained and warned his people before he does it. He warns them through his servants, the prophets. He also tells them in advance about other things he is going to do, like the enthronement of his son Jesus in 1914, which he inspired the prophet Daniel to write about, as well as the prophet and apostle John in the book of Revelation. So why is it that when the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses were imprisoned in 1918, they did not understand what was happening and why it was happening? The Watchtower of June 1987 says, as early as 1922, Jehovah's people were made aware that they were in a time of judgment in fulfillment of Malachi's prophecy. The Watchtower of September the 1st, 1922 said, but Malachi's prophecy looks beyond the partial fulfillment at our Lord's first advent and forward to the time when Messiah should come in glory and strength and when he should judge amongst his people. Now once again the time of judgment has come. Again his professed people are tried as by fire, and the true-hearted sons of Levi are being gathered together for service. So they say they realized they were going through a judgment and testing period after it had happened. And if their claim that they were freed from Babylon the Great, which represents false religious beliefs and practices, in the year 1919 is true, then why does the Finnish Mystery Book, which was published in 1918 by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, not mention the year 1919 at all? That's because they fit their story to the prophecies after the event. The Watchtower of the 1st of February 2004 on page 21, paragraph 13 says, since Bible prophecies are often fully understood only after they are fulfilled or are in the process of fulfillment, we will have to wait and see. So if the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses does not have Jehovah's actions revealed to them before Jehovah acts, then they cannot be Jehovah's servants, the prophets. And would Jehovah's servants, the prophets, write lies to make their story fit a prophecy? The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses says that they were freed from Babylon the Great, which represents false religious beliefs and practices, in the year 1919. But the Watchtower of 15th of May 1995 says, in 1926, another brilliant flash of light revealed that the War of Armageddon was not to be a social revolution, as Bible students once thought. Shortly thereafter, after 1926, a flash of light caused the Bible students to stop celebrating Christmas. Before that time, Christmas had always been celebrated by the Bible students worldwide, and its celebration at Brooklyn headquarters was a very festive occasion. But then it was discerned that the observance of December 25th was actually pagan and was chosen by apostate Christendom to make it easier to convert pagans. They stopped celebrating Christmas in 1928. In their Proclaimers book, in chapter 14, it says, "For years, Bible students wore a cross and crown as a badge of identification. And this symbol was on the front cover of the Watchtower from 1891 to 1931. So they stopped using the cross in 1931. The next but one paragraph says, "For some 35 years, Pastor Russell thought that the Great Pyramid of Giza was God's stone witness, corroborating biblical time periods. But Jehovah's Witnesses have abandoned the idea that an Egyptian pyramid has anything to do with true worship. See the Watchtower issues of November the 15th and December the 1st, 1928. So they freed themselves of Egyptian false religion in the year 1928. These are just a few of the many facts that prove that Jehovah's Witnesses were not miraculously freed from Babylon the Great in 1919. Their book, Daniel's Prophecy, says in chapter 17, page 298, "In the book of Daniel, the term constant feature occurs 5 times. It refers to a sacrifice of praise, the fruit of lips, regularly offered to Jehovah God by his servants. Its foretold removal is referred to at Daniel chapter 8 verse 11, chapter 11 verse 31, and chapter 12 verse 11. During both world wars, Jehovah's people were severely persecuted in the realms of the King of the North and the King of the South. The removal of the constant feature took place toward the end of World War I, when the preaching work was all but suspended in mid-1918. But in their yearbook of 1975, page 109, it says, "During this entire period of difficulty, not one issue of the Watchtower failed to appear in print. An appointed editorial committee kept the journal in circulation. And their recent Watchtower of October 2018 says, during this period, the Bible students faced intense persecution. The Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, thoroughly investigated their activity, producing thousands of documents. These records show that our brothers were determined to keep preaching. In a letter to the FBI, the postmaster of Orlando, Florida, wrote, the Bible students are making a house-to-house canvass of the town and are doing most of it at night. They at least seem to want to keep the pot boiling by their continued stirring. A colonel with the War Department wrote to the Bureau to report the activity of Frederick W. Franz, who later served on the governing body. The colonel wrote, F.W. Franz has been actively engaged in the sale of some 1,000 volumes of the Finnish Mystery. Charles Feckle, who later served on the governing body, faced intense persecution. The authorities arrested him for distributing the Finnish Mystery and monitored his personal correspondence. In addition to their zealous preaching, the Bible students fervently circulated a petition to free the brothers imprisoned in Atlanta Anna K. Gardner recounted, "We were always doing something. When the brothers were in prison, our next job was to get signers. We went from door to door. We got thousands of signatures." During this difficult time, frequent conventions were held to strengthen the brotherhood spiritually. The Watchtower stated, "Over 40 conventions have been held during the year. Glowing reports have been received from all these conventions. Formerly, all conventions were held during the late summer or the early fall, but now every month in the year has its conventions." Honest-hearted ones were still responding to the good news. At one convention in Cleveland, Ohio, some 1,200 attended and 42 were baptized. Our brothers persisted in their work. They were so confident of the outcome that they selected as their year text for 1919, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." So the evidence proves that the constant feature, the fruit of lips, was not removed during that period. Lies and falsehoods are not spoken by Jehovah's genuine servants, the prophets. And if Jehovah did not reveal his plan to someone before the event, then trying to fit a past story to the prophecy after the event is not acceptable and does not identify that one as a true prophet. The prophet Daniel said, "Many will rove about, and the true knowledge will become abundant." No wicked ones will at all understand, but the ones having insight will understand. But the true knowledge must be revealed before Jehovah acts. And those having insight must understand before Jehovah carries out his plan, so that the words of the prophet Amos can be fulfilled. The great Lord Jehovah will not do a thing unless he reveals his confidential plan to his servants the prophets. Because the gift of inspired prophesying was ended in the 1st century, the only way Jehovah can reveal what he is about to do is through the words of the Holy Bible. It is therefore imperative that we study the Bible thoroughly, regularly, and constantly. Those of us who understand the importance of Bible study must encourage others to study it. The true brotherhood of genuine Christians must keep encouraging one another to continue in their Bible reading. By joining together in unity, we can help and support one another. The reward of that will be that we will know in advance what is going to happen, and we will have a genuine and privileged relationship with Jehovah God and Jesus the King. That will lead to everlasting life. The website empireofjehovah.org has been set up for that objective. Why not visit the site and join us in the members area? Together we will do the will of Jehovah our God, expose the false teachings and hypocrisy of dishonest religious organizations, and save Jesus' genuine sheep who have been betrayed and stumbled by false Christians.